you're enjoying our coverage here live on the screens of 7 from Sandown, and a special welcome and good afternoon, good evening, whatever it might be, to our international viewers as well. Cars have headed out on track at Sandown for GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS and with Alex Peroni, and that is because his race in some respects started a little earlier today after an unfortunate incident in qualifying. The great news is Team BRM have got that car sorted.
Yeah, amazing job by the team. It was kind of a short turnaround from quali, and they just, all of them put in a mega effort to get it ready. Unfortunate incident, mistake on my side, just kind of got stuck on the exit curb, and then once I got on the grass, I couldn't stop it. So it's unfortunate. I think Mark will have a bit of fun this race coming through, and we were talking about the weather before. It looks pretty unpredictable, so who knows? We can maybe find some luck today. Tell
us a little bit more about that. I mean, because the rain hasn't fully set in, but it's been enough to be unsettling at times. What's it like from a driver's perspective in that phase where it's not one really or the other? Yeah,
it's tricky, and every track has different tarmac and different characteristics. And this track seems like when it just rains a little bit, it gets really slippery, kind of like what happened at QR. So, we're just going to have to wait and see. I think it'll play into our favour because we're standing so far back.
Good on you. Put this morning behind you. Big 1 hour of racing to come. Hope it's a good one for you this afternoon. There he is, Alex Peroni. Let's go to Stubbsy.
Thank you. Well, from one young star to another in Mercedes AMG, superstar of GT racing around the world. First of all, let's just detail what you've been up to in the recent weeks and months, and what's ahead. You are one of the busiest men in motorsport.
Yeah, I've been very busy as of late. Only back from Fuji Speedway a couple of weeks ago with GT World Challenge Asia with Craft Bamboo over there, and then head back over in a few weeks to Okayama in Japan again. But before that, we'll be at Queensland Raceway testing with Walkinshaw as part of my co-driving duties with Ryan Wood, who's actually in this race as well.
A very, very busy man, Jayden Ojeda. Talk to us about this race that's coming up, the conditions we've got here. Chatting with Rusty earlier, braking markers have to change. There's a lot for you guys to think about, isn't there?
Yeah, tricky. Probably a race that the pros should be starting because this is what we get paid for. But for sure it's going to be a hard race for the AMs. These guys, it's not their bread and butter to be driving these race cars. So it's going to be hard getting the tyres up to temperature and finding a reference point, and especially if the rain picks up, it's going to be certainly tricky. So it'll be an exciting race. It'll add to the flavour of the racing and the entertainment, so keep watching.
Well, you mentioned the test at QR, of course, Walkinshaw Andretti United. You'll see this year's Bathurst 1000 right here on 7. Their factory's not far from here. How does that preparation unfold? How much time are you spending with them? What does that look like?
Yeah, well, the preparation kicks underway on Monday, actually. Both Woody and myself will head to the workshop Monday, Tuesday, do some seat fitting, do some driver change practice, and just really get into the routine of things before our test in a few weeks after their round up there at Ipswich. So really looking forward to teaming up with Walkinshaw and Andretti United again. It'll be awesome to be flying the WAU flag come Bathurst.
Absolutely. Go well here, first of all. We'll catch up with you later on.
Awesome. Thanks.
Rusty?
Just dropped into Arise Racing, Chris, before the racing proper gets underway. Jordan Love did a great job this morning, and the kind of spoils in the two quali sessions were shared between the two cars. Were you very different in the way you approached things from a setup perspective?
No, we're quite similar this weekend, which is nice. We've been somewhat a little bit different earlier in the year just to try and get Steve back up to speed, but it's nice we're working together now as two cars and trying different things and really bouncing off one another, which is really nice. So your car was mega this morning, and it was obviously great to get a lap in. So we'll race out and see where we go today.
You chatted in an interview earlier today about Steve returning to racing and kind of helping in that regard. Just give us a sense of the growth that you've seen in that re-emergence, if you will, and the message before we head off and racing here.
Yeah, obviously Steve, he's got a huge amount of experience. He's raced all over the world, back in GT1 days, GT2, and did all the big races there are to do, Le Mans, Spa, he's done them all. But he's been out of the car for about 8-9 years, so it's great to see him back in the car and back racing. But obviously, it's just like riding a bike. You get back on it and you know what you're doing, but it does take time to get up to speed. So we're chipping away. All the tracks are new tracks for him as well, which is a challenge. So he's chipping away at it. He's enjoying it, which is the main thing, and having fun.
Good on you. Have a cracking afternoon and hustle at the back end of things. Good on you.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, Rusty.
Chris.
Talk about the three amigos. I might go with that as a terminology. We've got Ryan Wood here, recent race winner in supercars, Brock Feeney, championship leader in supercars, and a Bathurst 1000 winner who's returning for a debut. GT World Challenge Australia powered by AWS, Lee Holdsworth. Welcome. How are you fitting in, mate?
It's great to be back, Stubbsy, with the young boys here, trying to feed it up to them. But no, I'm enjoying being back in the track and getting some miles before Enduros.
Mate, we're loving seeing you. Brock Feeney's alongside you. Come on over this way, Brock. Just make sure we've got our signal nice and clear. Championship leader in Supercar. It's a nice little program. Stepping back in for Will Brown, your good mate here this weekend.
Yeah, I thought I was done at QR, and Will double booked himself. So here I am this weekend. So no, it's good to be back. It's interesting driving these cars here compared to a supercar. But yeah, it's been a bit of fun. See what the weather does today, and yeah, hopefully we can go for another win.
Fantastic. Good luck. I'll get Ryan Wood in as well. Woody, always with a smile on your face. You are a stirrer of all sorts of action in pit lane, no doubt about that. I'll be careful of my words, mate. Congratulations. I think since we last got up, a race winner in supercars, mate.
Yeah, saving the best for last out of us three. So, yeah, no, it's been good. Obviously, the race win at Perth was really cool, but full focus on today's race. And yeah, I think it's going to be pretty dicey for the AMs out there to start the race. But yeah, we're lucky with our 3 AMs. We've got some of the best. So it's going to be pretty interesting.
Good weather for a Kiwi.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully it showers properly and we can put some wets on and see how we go.
All right, let's get up to commentary. Richard Craill.
Stubbsy, thank you. It's been will they, won't they today as far as rain goes. It's kept everyone guessing, but so too has the GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS Championship. It's been a beauty, and we've only written half the book so far. The next chapter starts now with race 1 in round 4 here at Sandown International Motor Raceway. Richard Craill and Thomas Randall with you upstairs in a nice warm commentary box, which definitely isn't outside, as we get set with a Ferrari and an Audi on the front row of the grid, an Aston Martin and an Audi on the second, and then a couple of fast Mercedes AMGs to fire off down towards turn 1. Championship leader is Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute for Arise Racing in the Ferrari, and that car starts from pole position, but the trophy pole went to Paul Stokel and Matt Stupas in the KFC Audi. Pro-Am went to Darren Curry and Axel Donaldson in the 111 Racing AMG, and there they are. That Ferrari that's been 3 times a winner so far this season, they lead the points over Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher's Audi R8. The scene is set for that championship battle to continue, and this is how it rolls out, with Elliott Shute to start this race in the Ferrari and Brad Schumacher in the Audi. Liam Talbot starts the Aston Martin, the Kiwi Steve Brooks the Audi from Wolfbrook Racing next. Grant Donaldson will start the AMG. Paul Lucchetti, the realtor entry for Tigani Autosport. Rene Gracie on top and going along nicely in the AM class. Sergio Perez next. Then James Koundouris and Shane Woodman to start the Black Wolf Motorsport AMG. Great to see Lee Holdsworth back. So too Mark Sini, the experienced Victorian, out of 11th. Matt Stupas next in the KFC car, and off the back row of the grid, they'll start from pole tomorrow. Steve Wyatt starts the 77 car from 13th, and after missing qualifying due to an accident, you heard from Alex Peroni, Mark Rosser will start the ACM Finance car run by Team BRM from 14th position. 1 hour on the clock, mandatory pit stops, 5-minute window for the AM competitors, and then 5 minutes for the Pro-Am. That starts 25 and then 30 minutes respectively into this 1 hour race for a mandatory pit stop with a set time in pit lane. That will all play out in front of us. The other storylines to talk about: happy birthday Liam Talbot starts from the second row of the grid. Thomas Randall in car number 1, the Valente Rosso Racing Aston Martin.
Good afternoon to you, Richard Craill. I think you summed up everything perfectly there, leading into what is race number 1 here of the GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. It's going to be a cracking run down to turn 1 for the start. We have 2 formation laps here, just a bit of extra tyre temp, brake temp, and you can see on a few of the cars a lot of extra blanking with race tape in the grills, most notably on the Mercedes grills as well. So Shute off the pole position. Brad Schumacher really wanted to get that race win, and that 888 Audi will have an extra 5 seconds compensation time. The only other car in the Pro-Am class that will have extra pit stop time will actually be the 268 Audi of Mark Rosser, and they're down in 14th, albeit last place, after what you spoke about, Crailsy, that incident for Alex Peroni in qualifying 1, which subsequently took them out of qualifying 2. So they've got a big job ahead of them from this afternoon onwards, including tomorrow. So
yeah, the pit stop times for this race based on the results of the most recent race, which was at Queensland Raceway 6 weeks ago, which was won by Mark Rosser and Alex Peroni, with The sadly missing Dale ITM Audi second in that, and then Brad Schumacher and his co-driver Brock Feeney third for the Melbourne Performance Centre team. An oddly quiet race, that one, for Arise Racing. 5th place was the result for Elliott Shute and Jackson Evans. However, that gives them a little advantage coming in today, especially given they start from pole position. So if you were with us on our coverage earlier today for qualifying, it's an effort to get some tyre temperature. It is freezing cold here in Melbourne today, under 11 degrees down here in the southeast, inner southeastern suburbs of Melbourne. We're about 35 minutes from the CBD, down the Monash, and then pop onto Springvale Road, Princes Highway, and you rock up at Sandown, right in the middle of suburbia. It is a chilly day. It's going to take time to generate tyre temperature and pressure in this opening stint. So there is a lot of weight and a lot of pressure on the shoulders of semi-professional racing car drivers. The pros jump in the back half of this race. It just raises the stakes for that rush to turn one a little bit higher.
Well, they jump in when it's a hot car and hot tyres. The AM drivers, however, they've got to start the race, and I think they're just going to want to be a little bit tentative for the first lap at least. But as soon as you put the visor down, and a typical race driver, the red mist comes, and especially if you're on the front 2 rows, you're going to want to capitalise early. So, Shute v Schumacher, Ferrari v Audi, Aston, Audi heading down the straight. And who's it going to be that will lead us into turn number 1?
Ferrari versus Audi. What's the chance of a result for Aston Martin today as well? Liam Talbot and Jamie Day have got the Volante Rosso car going well. The second half of GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, starts now. And it starts with a flying start for the birthday boy. Schumacher sends it way too deep, though. Off on the escape road, the concrete on the outside. But he's still going to try and wrestle the race lead away from the Ferrari. Talbot gets down the inside, curb used, mirrors flying, expensive early. And there's no quarter given by Elliott Shute, making his presence felt. Schumacher scoots away in front. Talbot and Shute still boxing on the run up the back straight.
There's a mirror gone there off the Ferrari after turn number 4, that contact out of 3. And I don't know how race control's going to view this, because Schumacher went off turn 1, completely off, and then rejoined back in front into the lead. So
gained an advantage, you'd think.
You would think so, but whether they might say, you know, hey, lap 1 cold tyres, all that sort of thing, I'm not sure. But to go effectively from second all the way around the outside, off the track, rejoin into the lead, not sure. But these two are still going at it, Talbot and Schumacher. They've got a little bit of history, these boys. And shall we say lightly?
Don't they?
Schumacher away on the run, and Elliott Shute has gone from position number 1 down to position number 3. So not the greatest start in the Ferrari, but everyone really cleanly through, and massive
Brooks.
late move.
Huge late move. And he's surely not going to get it stopped, but he does. Stopped and turned. It's going to open the door, though, for Shute to get back down the inside, but he decides to back out of that one. And Steve Brooks moves up to 3rd position. The Ferrari back to 4th, and struggling on cold Pirellis to the point where Sergio Perez in the Guy of Valmont Racing 55 cars in there as well. Grant Donaldson still leads the way in the AM class in 6th outright, with Renee Gracie just in behind. Back of shot, heading up the back straight. Here's the start. So keep an eye on the green and white Audi. It tucked in behind and then went round the outside and used a lot of that concrete that's laid on the outside of the exit curve of turn 1.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how race control will view that, because he was behind before the braking zone, sent it off the track and rejoined. That was a massive moment from Brooks, by the way, in the background, but rejoined and took the lead. So, yeah, not really sure. There's that wing mirror off the Ferrari disappearing, and they were side by side, rubbing panels, which you don't often see in the GT cars, but Talbot won out of that battle, and Elliott Shute now back in the 4th position. So first back to 4th. Great start for Brooksy. And Perez 5th, Grant Donaldson 6th, leader of AM class, Renee Gracie in 7th. And here's Talbot now starting to apply pressure onto Brad Schumacher.
I'm not sure what Orica, who built the Ferrari 296 GT3 cars, charge for a passenger side wing mirror.
I don't think I want to know.
No. More than you or I are worth today, I would imagine. That was a pass up the inside. Mark Rosser from the back of the grid in the ACM Finance Audi, now squeezing up the inside at the kink on the back straight. of Grant Donaldson couldn't get that done. He started 14th. He's up to 7th position now. Flying start for Rosser.
And plenty of pace. Unfortunately, missed qualifying. Team BRM doing a fantastic job getting that car fixed. Had to replace the radiator and a fair bit in the front end. I think the suspension was okay, but a lot of mucking around, just trying to get that car back together. Rear engine, so thankfully no damage there, but plenty of pace early on in this race. And the beauty for him is that he's got brand new tyres, because he didn't take part in qualifying, and that's really starting to show. So if he can clear Donaldson, he'll be in the top 6, and then up ahead will be purely Pro-Am cars.
Liam Talbot hauling in the race leader, but this is the battle to watch as Rosser gets the nose up the inside. Little puff of smoke from the outside front. Big understeer, lots of steering lock. He'll do the Schumacher move and run the car wide. And once again, it will bring into question as to whether the pass was complete by that point or if it aided him through one of the little vagaries of racing here at Sandown. Regardless, the ACM car is up and gone. Donaldson back to 7th. He still leads the AM class, and Rene Gracie gets another opportunity to try and pass for the lead in class. So race within a race in GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. And this is for the class lead in the AM class battle.
And the gap at the front is going down to 0.3 of a second, so Talbot must be right on the back of Schumacher here. And a lot of pace here it is. Not much gap at all between those two, and Talbot now, as he crossed the line, half a second faster was Talbot on that lap alone, a 1:10.8. So we're a couple of seconds away from qualifying pace. I mean, we are full fuel, so wouldn't expect to see qualifying pace in these cars right now. But yeah, that Aston Martin looking super quick, and he qualified that car in 3rd position behind Schumacher and Schute. So race car wise, looking fantastic at the moment.
So Brad Schumacher leads the way. Liam Talbot is next. Brooks 3rd, Schute 4th. Mark Rosser rounds out the top 6. And race control have noted the incident with the number 888 Audi at turn 1 at the start of the race with Brad Schumacher. It's just noted, no penalties just yet.
Yeah, so that just means that now they're going to look into it and see whether or not they think that's worthy of a penalty or no further action. So we'll have to just wait to see there. But like I said, track limits, rejoining potentially with an advantage. There's a little bit of bodywork flinging off the back of the Aston Martin. I would say that's from the contact between Elliott Schute. And we've got Rosser, oh no, off at Dandenong Road, and he's beached. So that's going to be a safety car.
If it's not your day, Tom, it's not your day.
Well, you know what they say? When it rains, it pours, Crailsy.
We haven't got there yet, but it has for Team BRM. The fire's still alight, but it's not driving anywhere. Let's have a look.
What's happened here?
Very end of it, all on his own, pressing on.
That could be a very similar case to what we saw in GT4, potentially grabbing the exit curb with a wheel and spinning around.
Good point.
But he's not getting that out in a hurry. I think he's going to have to wait for assistance. Keeps doing that, there's going to be rocks all in the rear end of that car, so...
Well, the safety car is called. The BMW M safety car will gather the field up this time by. There's been a change of position for the AM class lead. 6th and 7th on the road. Rene Gracie, the OnlyFans Audi, has jumped up and grabbed that spot. Grant Donaldson back to 2nd in class. Both having a really good weekend so far. Rene with the long pit stop time there, thanks to a couple of race wins at Queensland Raceway last time out. She's got a very healthy lead in the AM class. In fact, cannot lose the lead of the championship this weekend in AM, even if she scored 0 points. Such is her margin after a pretty dominant start to the season.
So the only car this really hurts is the 888, because they've got the extra 5 seconds pit stop time. However, the incident at turn 1 has been noted. So we'll see what happens there, if anything. But as it stands, Brad Schumacher out in front from Liam Talbot, who's looking really racy, isn't he, in this first 15 minutes of the race?
Well, the Aston Martin has been quick since they unloaded it out of the Volante Rosso truck on Thursday night. It seems well suited to this. It's got quite good ride, so it deals with the bumps really well. it's been a learning process for that team this year. I was speaking to Chris Papadopoulos and Josh Hunt, who own the team and as such the car at the start of the season. They said, look, it's a lot to unpick. We're learning it. We're getting better. They had a really positive campaign at the Bathurst 12 Hour at the start of the season. Had a couple of solid results in that car. Race 2 at Phillip Island, they grabbed a second. They were 4th in race 1 at Queensland Raceway last time out. Starting to build, and with the help of arguably the most successful AM driver in Australian motorsport at the moment in the form of Liam Talbot, they're in really good shape. P2, and it could be a net race lead once the pit stops are done. And then when the AMs jump out, the pros jump in. It'll be a case of what's the teenage Brit Jamie Day, who is a factory junior Aston Martin racer, what's he got to challenge some of the best drivers in this part of the world at the moment? Recovery complete down at Dandenong Road. Mark Rosser has been extricated from the gravel trap. The BMW M safety car has packed up the field, and we shouldn't be too far away from going car racing here at Sandown Shannons SpeedSeries and round 4 of the GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS.
So this is what's been noted by race control, just replaying the start once again. So shoot in front, and then a massive dive bomb by Brad Schumacher, locking the rears, cold tyres, and right round the outside off the track into the lead. So we'll just wait and see what happens there from Motorsport Australia Race Control.
So that was the moment there was a big slide from Steve Brooks in that gold, black and silver Audi behind, and then this argy-bargy touring car style racing between Elliott Shute and Liam Talbot. Expensive little exchange with the mirror going off, and then this was the reason we're behind the control of the safety car. Mark Rosser had got himself to 7th position from the back of the field and had been charging his way up the order, pressing on. We believe grabbed that curb on the outside and just fired the car off into Danny Road. So unfortunately, he is out. So 1 lap to go behind the control of the BMW M safety car. While we are behind the caution, we can go down to the lane. Here's Rusty.
Given all of those highlights in a very short space of time in this race, I thought I'd check in with Jackson Evans here at Arise Racing. Is Elliott saying much? Is the car okay in the wake of a couple of sort of feisty moments they've been?
Yeah, I think, the car's fine. It was obviously a difficult start for most of the AM drivers there, being so cold, hard to get tyre temp even with the second formation lap. So, it's not been an easy thing in the Ferrari, and I think that was sort of a product of that. But, he's got some temp now, and we're all bunched back up again, so I'm pretty sure we'll be able to move forward.
In the meantime, the commentators were just sort of, recapping the start there and Brad going off at 1 and what may or may not transpire. Have you got a view on that? What's your take on that?
Yeah, it looked like Brad went pretty deep and, obviously ran off the track. And I think when you leave the track and get an advantage, it's probably not in the fair play of the game. So I know we've put in a request for it to be reviewed, and whatever comes from that will come from it. But, in the end, we lost more than one position, so he couldn't even readdress it. It's one of those awkward ones.
Right, hey, great to catch up with you. This guy, been a tough time for him, obviously, with the passing of Tim Miles very recently. And we'll celebrate the great man tomorrow with a minute of noise before we get going with racing in this class.
Well said, Rusty, with Jackson Evans. And boy, a win today or tomorrow would mean a whole lot for the young Kiwi, who called him Uncle Tim. Brad Schumacher was close friends with Tim as well. So there's a lot on this. It's just an extra layer of motivation for some of these teams and drivers this weekend to put on a performance worthy of our late mate. So we go back to racing. The safety car is in. And we go back to green flag conditions, and it will be a race to the pit stop. Remember, a little bit of extra pit stop time for our race leader, the Kelso Electrical Game Over Melbourne Performance Centre Audi R8 V10 naturally aspirated power charges down towards turn 1 at Sandown. The turbocharged Aston Martin Vantage GT3 follows with Liam Talbot. Then it's Steve Brooks. Then it's Elliott Shute, who's going to stick the nose out at turn 1, but decides against having a crack on Calder Pirellis on a restart.
Everyone safely through turn 1, albeit I think that was Donaldson going wide at turn 1, and there's Lucchini in behind, and Ojeda will take over the wheel of that car, and Talbot still looking very racy behind Schumacher. May have not got the best jump, but he's right in behind Schumacher here. Bit of a queue forming up behind Schumacher with Brooks in third. He's been doing a cracking job as well so far this weekend, and considering he missed the last round at Queensland Raceway.
Oh,
as
shoot.
There's Shoot looking for a move. Not sure he'll get that done at turn 6, but we'll have to wait and see.
No, he didn't, but he was just starting to think about getting the nose up the inside. And word from Motorsport Australia Race Control, so there'll be a 5-second penalty for car 888. Turn 1, lap 1, track limits. Oh, and more contact as Talbot gets into the back of Schumacher. So Brad's got a penalty coming. He'll serve that in the pit stop. But fisticuffs between them, all checked up. Brooks is in this now. Shoots in the fight. Sergio Perez buying into it. And Rene Gracie tacked onto the back as well.
So that's 5 plus 5 because he's already got 5 seconds of compensation time. So that car, the Schumacher car, will have to stop for 10 extra seconds. And at the moment, I mean, that'll put them right out of contention. So
that was quite significant. Nose-to-tail contact there as well. Hopefully there's no further damage to the front of the Aston Martin. Punched in the front bar there under the right front headlight. Shannons Insurance logo above it. There's the leader. So he's got damage as well. That will affect the rear aerodynamics and the front on the Aston as they head up towards the fastest, most aerodynamically sensitive part of the racetrack.
I think as long as the front splitter is okay,
it'll be all right.
I think it's going to be okay. And from the shots we've seen, the front splitter looks intact because that's what generates all that front downforce. So if you're going to have some contact, that car's been in the wars a little bit, considering the argy-bargy between himself and Ali and Shoot at the beginning of the race, and now a bit of push and shove. He probably wouldn't have known that there was a 5-second penalty given at that point, but I'm sure the crew at Volante Rosso would have told Talbot by now that he's got an extra 10 seconds in the lane.
Yeah, so you can afford to be not quite as aggressive trying to get your way past. The problem is, he's got the very fast Kiwi Steve Brooks and the Wolfbrook Racing Audi in behind. Here's another look.
He's just basically drilled the back of the rear left of the Kelso Electrical Audi and then thought about a move, knew it wasn't going to work, and thought better of it. And there was kind of a bit of a play-on scenario there because nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Both got damage.
Both got a bit of damage. Play on.
Steve Brooks watch it happen and go, come on, keep doing this. I'll cruise past and get you both of it.
As I think we've just heard from race control, Talbot's going to be given a bad sportsmanship flag.
So that's exactly as you called it, which is don't do it again, but it's fine. Move on. So Schumacher, Talbot, Brooks, Shoot, Perez, lock, step at the lead, and Talbot again ranges up. He carries so much speed into the final corner. Stubbsy.
Well, speaking of the devil, we're just watching Liam Talbot go past his co-driver, Jamie Day. The 19-year-old Brit, welcome to Sandown. What are your first impressions?
Yeah, it's a lot. Obviously coming from Mazzano last week, the MotoGP track, which is absolutely dead smooth. So coming here to an old school track, a little bit rough around the edges, especially the off-track bits. But you know, it's super cool to take the two differences.
And the Aston Martin with Liam, I mean, he's a jet. He's obviously won back-to-back championships here, so it's a nice seat to get in, replacing Declan Fraser. What's your thoughts of that car here?
Yeah, it's going super well. As you can see, currently Liam's hustling for the lead, so it's going all well. Obviously, the pit stop's going to be key here. Obviously, a few people have the time penalty to hold on to, but it's all about when we come out and just see how I can control the race afterwards.
I think hustling is the key word, because he's right on the back of Brad, isn't he?
Oh, he's giving it a good go for sure. You can see he's hustling him, he's pushing him in some corners, but it's great to see on TV.
And great to see you here, mate. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Impressive young driver, a member of Aston Martin's factory driver roster and their junior driver academy and global GT racing. Popped up at the 12 hour at the start of the year. I'm like, oh, another fast young Brit. No one really knew who he was, and he was super, super impressive against some of the world's best GT drivers on the mountain. And continuing to showcase that. He's going to be up against it when he gets behind the wheel of car 1, though, because he's going to be wheel to wheel with some massive firepower when it comes to drivers from this part of the world. Schumacher struggled to get that car turned into turn 2. It had big understeer. It didn't want to turn into the corner. And then he struggled to change direction at 3. And it's cost him a little bit of track position to Talbot on the run up the back straight. Liam, meanwhile, is punching out purple sectors, which means he is absolutely flying. And the quickest car on the racetrack in second place.
Well, at the moment, if I'm looking at the timing totem here, 7th position or 8th position is 10 seconds back from where Schumacher is. So, unlike what we saw in GT4, where the leader was able to extend a massive gap and help reduce the penalty, it's not quite working out that way for the 888 Kelso electrical Audi.
You're saying the job's on for Brock Feeney when he gets behind the wheel. They just got the championship margin beneath the full race win, thanks to their strong weekend at Queensland Raceway. Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher, 22 points, first to second. But Arise Racing would love a big score here. They'd love to outscore the Audi in this tense championship battle. Feels like it's a battle between the two of them at the moment.
Now, something's happened to Lucchini because he's dropped down to 13th position, and he was up inside the top 8, so not sure what has happened there recently, but that's going to make life a bit challenging for Ojeda.
It's been a lap or two ago because he's just punched down his personal best lap of the race, and not that far away from the leader's pace, to be honest with you. Down in the order in the Realtor Mercedes AMG, the Black Wolf Racing car of Shane Woodman. So good to have these guys back in the championship. 4-car M-Class fight this weekend adds a little bit more spice to the field and the race within a race in GT World Challenge. It's being led by Renee Gracie. She's got 1.7 seconds over Grant Donaldson, who's second. That is that battle for the lead. Schumacher's still out in front, though, and it's still that freight train. Behind this group is Stephen Wyatt, so he's up to 11th place to hand over to Jordan Love, who put the car on pole for race 2 tomorrow. A brilliant lap in qualifying and a day of double Arise Racing poles. Mark Sini is 12th. He's got Lee Holdsworth ready to go in the Hallmark Property Group number 9 Audi. Paul Lucchini we just talked about, and then Mark Rosser, having spun, dropped a lap as well, is 14th and last as the pit stop window opens for the AM and Trophy Class cars. So they are now allowed to go in and serve their mandatory pit stop time. And of those, Renee Gracie, thanks to all her recent success, has the longest pit stop. So as it is in this outright battle we're watching here, the AM class has the same scenario from a pit stop point of view. So that will jumble that running order up once the pit stops are complete.
Perez is doing a nice job as well here, Krause. He's hanging in there in the top 5. So he's right in behind Elliott Shute there, and Shute, his pace has sort of gotten a little bit stronger now. A bit stronger than what it was at the start of the race. So whether that was a tyre pressure thing or maybe just not feeling as comfortable on those colder tyres, but as it stands, that 5-second penalty of Schumacher will put him behind Elliott Shute, which was the car that he overtook off the track. But a few cars in the background, Donaldson coming in for his mandatory pit stop, and Talbot's just set the fastest first sector of the race and set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:09.8, so into the 9s now. So we're a couple of seconds away from the race lap record, which was set back in 2019. Which was a 1:07.9. So we're a couple of seconds away from that, but we'll see what the pros can do when they get out there.
Matt Stupas and Paul Stokel in pit lane as well. They're the only trophy class car in the field. So the older specification Audi R8, not quite at the Evo spec that the outright cars are running. Talking about Sergio Perez, he's just set the quickest first sector of the whole car race. So the guy of Valmont Racing AMG is going well. He'll hand over to George King, the young Brit, for the second half of this race. They've had a decent season so far, has Sergio and George. 4th position in race 2 at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit being a highlight for them so far, but a couple of top 6 finishes in recent races at QR. Really consistent weekend. You were teammates with them at Sydney Motorsport Park. You and Marcel Zalua had a little cameo in GT World Challenge. Sergio driving better than he ever has in his career so far.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job there in position number 5, a 10.1. So he's only a couple of tenths away from the fastest lap of the race. And he's right in this battle as well. So George King will be taking over that car in the not too distant future. But it's a nice little battle pack here, isn't it? It's the top 5 cars all within less than 3 seconds. So the pit stops are going to have to be perfect if they want to maximise the rest of the race.
Sets it up for a thrilling fight when the pros jump in for the back half of this. Schumacher trying to edge away from Talbot. They're on the hockey strap at the moment. It ebbs and flows, and Talbot drops back into the hands of Steve Brooks and then pulls away and closes on the race leader. and having to defend at this point. So Brooks closer than he's been for a couple of laps.
If anything, Brooks is putting way more pressure on, and nearly contact there between the two, but the pressure's on now on Talbot. So Talbot was looking really racy, and it's gone from attacking to defending Crailsey. So Brooksy really looking strong here. Not sure whether he'll be able to go around the outside of Liam Talbot. Liam Talbot knows better than to leave the outside door open, and he still hangs on to second place.
So Brad Schumacher continues to lead the way. We're racing towards the Pro-Am pit stops here at Sandown. Schumacher, Talbot and Brooks, the battle for second and third here in GT World Challenge Australia. Elliott Shute following them in fourth place in the Ferrari, just watching and being entertained by this battle between Aston Martin and Audi. And Sergio Perez, we've been talking up his stock so far, the lead Mercedes AMG in the race, and indeed this weekend so far.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job out in front of the 888 Audi. Just a shame about that penalty. That's just going to be a little bit costly, but just a little bit more work for Brock Feeney to do when he gets handed the reins. So it'll be Feeney taking over the 888 Audi. Ryan Wood will be jumping aboard the 88 Audi. Jamie Day, the Brit, will be taking over the Volante Rosso Aston Martin, and Jackson Evans taking over the 26 Ferrari. So it's going to be a very interesting conclusion to this race once the pros get in. And where has Lucchidi gone? He's gone back up to 8th now, so he's got back in the running slightly, albeit 27 seconds off the lead. So a bit of a tricky task for the Juice, Jaden Ojeda, when he takes over. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when all the pros get in, because this is really heating up.
It's going to be really good. Battle in the AM class, so they've completed their mandatory pit stops. Ben Schutz now leads the way there in his Mercedes AMG in front of Darren Curry. There's just a couple of tenths between them. Renee Gracie 2.5 seconds behind the wheel as the pit stop window opens for the Pro-Am cars.
I would expect to see a few of them
this lap.
Exactly.
And the sector times indicate that. You can tell when a pit stop's looming because the timing screen gets all excited with colour as they set personal and session best laps as they press on to maximise their in-laps. Right, who pits? It's Talbot. He's going to pit, definitely. Brooks follows him in. The leader's in as well. Schumacher as well. Shute has stayed. No, he's in the Ferrari as well. All of the leaders shuffle into pit lane. Top 5 cars will undergo service.
Yeah,
that's the 5-second penalty being served for Brad Schumacher. So no one could touch the car. 5 seconds for that track limits violation at turn 1 at the start of the race.
And then they've got to serve the extra 5 seconds for the pit stop compensation time as well. So
they're going to come out last of this leading group of cars.
Yeah. Our timing says Elliott Schute's not in the lane, but we can assure you folks,
we saw the Ferrari.
Correct. With a Ferrari did come in along with the rest of the top 8. Rusty, what do you got for us in the lane?
Just watching that exact stop unfold. So Elliott Shute already out of the car, Jackson Evans getting in. They both have different seat inserts. Team at Lance East Exotics here in Arise Racing going around having a little look at things. There is a tyre pressure readjustment. Adam DeBore on the clock here. He's telling the crew via a massive iPad with a stopwatch on it that there's about 13 seconds to go. So we might try and have a little word with Elliott here. Meantime, the sister car is in as well. Steve is out already. Jordan Love behind the wheel. Elliott, how was that? I mean, there was a bit went on in that stint.
Yeah, it was pretty hectic at the start. Right around the outside, and then Liam and I had a bit of a tussle, and I kind of came off third best. But I'm glad that we can hang with them, so Jackson can do his thing now.
Just quickly, car's okay?
Yeah, it seems fine. Yeah.
Well, back to you guys.
The battle builds at Sandown, and we have a new race leader. 19-year-old Brit Jamie Day, a factory Aston Martin racer, leads the race for Volante Rosso Motorsport in the Aston Martin GT3. George King is second for Gaia Valmont Racing. Jackson Evans is third. Arise Racing in the Ferrari. Ryan Wood fourth. And with that extra pit stop time and the penalty added, Brock Feeney right now has resumed this race in 5th position, having led going into the pit stop. So you can bet one thing, car 888 is going to go real fast for the remaining 25 minutes of this GT World Challenge Australia race. This is for position. King under pressure from Jackson Evans, championship leader in the Pro-Am battle in GT World Challenge, Ferrari versus Mercedes AMG.
I can see Evans putting a move on King into turn 1. A lot of confidence does Jackson Evans have in this Ferrari, and he's thinking about a move, and here we go, down the inside. A nice move on George King, and should get that done. And now the pressure will be back on Jamie Day, because Evans has been super quick in these cars throughout his journey aboard the Arise Racing Ferraris. And look who's in behind. Brock Feeney had a little bit of a moment off turn 1, but they're in position number 5. Ryan Wood set the fastest first sector on this lap, but I think the timers are just going to keep tumbling down. So it's about 3.5 seconds back, Day to Evans. Then it's George King, Ryan Wood, Brock Feeney, Ben Schutz, Curry, Gracie, Jordan Love, and Jaden Ojeda rounding out the top 10.
The other thing that's unfolding, one, Jaden Ojeda is going very quickly back in 10th position, so expect him to pop up the leaderboard as this race evolves. The other thing is that the battle for the AM class is closing right up. So Ben Schutz has got Curry behind him 1 second, and then it's 1.3 back to Gracie in the OnlyFans Audi. So that's all concertinaing up as well. Here is that battle pack. Ryan Wood's just set the fastest lap of the race in the Wolfbrook Audi, 109.5. You bet they'll only get quicker as this one goes on. 23 minutes to go now.
Yeah, I think
3 seconds the lead. Sorry, Thomas.
That's right. I think Ojeda will be eclipsing that lap time on this lap. Just, it's a shame for Jaden Ojeda, because he's 26 seconds back, and he's the first car in the 108. So a 108.9 for Jaden Ojeda, only 0.6 quicker than the next car, which was Jordan Love and also Ryan Wood. So the gap out in front has come down a second. So it's gone from 3.5 seconds down to 2.5 seconds. So the pressure is on Jamie Day here.
Pressure on everywhere, including the pit lane where we find Greg Rust.
Catch up with Brad Schumacher just after that first stint, what it was like, and is the car compromised anyway, because a bit went on?
Yeah, look, there's tricky conditions out there, obviously. The circuit's very slippery. No, the car started to come to towards the end of the stint. As you can see, I was pulling a bit of a gap. But I was giving it a little bit extra effort because I heard this 5-second penalty for track limits at turn 1. Yeah, look, to be honest, I thought it was maybe a little harsh. I seen Liam and Elliot there having a bit of a tussle, and I thought, look, if I try and keep this car within the track limits here, I might end up in there in a bit of a bit. So I decided to drive around the Ribble Strip, and ultimately got a good drive because of it. But anyway, we'll got Brock out there now. We'll see how he goes. Obviously, this one meant a lot to me if we can put ourselves in the position for a win, but going to be difficult from 5th. It's hard to pass here, so let's see what happens.
I'll leave you to it. Thank you. We might try and grab a quick word if we can with Steve Brooks here as well, because I thought Steve's stint was that was a cracking run by you. Well done,
mate. Thanks very much. It was good. First time here at Sandown, so yeah, new track. Yeah, it was great.
Just what I mean, you were so energised, mate. What gave you the confidence to be like that, given that it is new turf, and obviously you're working with Ryan and so on?
Oh, it was just really the engineer going, you've just got to keep on them, and I'm just watching everyone bang into each other, and I'm going, like, I'll just sit on the back and see what happens, you know. The old tortoise at the back, you know.
Well played. Okay, hope the rest of the afternoon goes well. Thanks for talking.
Mate, cheers. Bye.
Great to hear from Steve Brooks. They're in a really good position and in a massive fight as well for a spot on the podium here with Ryan Wood, fellow Kiwi. It's a great story of how they got together this year. Ryan approached Brooks for some sponsorship, and we've got a spinner down at Dandenong Road. It's the 111 Motorsport car. Second in the AM class, has had a spin, and has it found the Armco on the inside as well.
Let's have a look here. So into Dandenong Road. Once again, grabs the curb and spins round. And it's like he's just tried to get it going. And, oh, that was close with Jordan Love. Can he get that thing out of there and maybe back it up? Not sure. That's a really awkward position to leave that car. It's tricky because your peripheral vision as a driver, Krails, is so limited.
Here are the leaders too. So waved yellows.
I think he's getting direction from the official there just to tell him when he can reverse back. So hopefully he can find reverse gear. And there we go. Should be good to go. So back to our leaders. The gap now down to 1/10 of a second between Jamie Day and Jackson Evans. Jackson Evans is going to want to hope that there isn't a safety car because there's all this momentum from the Arise Racing Audi.
Yeah, this is on. This is huge. And this means something to Jackson Evans as well. There's extra emotion attached to today's race. He looks around the outside, the Ferrari. Big move to go the long way round at turn one and gets hustled wide over the exit curb. And Jamie Day, he's young, he's inexperienced, but he's a fighter. He knows how to race these cars as hard as anyone else.
Yeah, that was going to be tough going around the long way around there. And Jamie Day just put the car in the perfect position. Great defensive driving from him. And he said, no way are you going around the outside of me here. We've just seen on our timing screen a 5-second penalty for car 77, Jordan Love, for pit lane speed infringement.
They're the little 1%ers you hate to have, don't you? We just saw a shot of Stephen White watching on from pit lane. Oh, he's made a mistake, Jamie Day. He runs wide at Dandenong Road. That could be all she wrote for Arise Racing, and the Ferrari goes to the race lead. Jackson Evans in front. Couldn't get the move done at turn one. Executed with a mistake from the race leader down at Dandenong Road half a lap later. And it could change again because Ryan Wood, the young Kiwi, charges up behind the Aston Martin as well.
He's going to try and cover it. He's going to try and do the exact same thing, but Ryan Wood is going to send it even further down the inside.
Wow.
And he gets the move done. Well, from what we can see so far, nice job. And that was a case, I think, of youth versus experience between Evans and Jamie Day.
Bit of local knowledge perhaps there as well. Ryan having the faith that, yep, you can send it down the Armco on the inside at Sandown.
And look who's next in the queue, Crailsy. It's Brock Feeney. So Jamie Day back from the lead to third, and he's going to have to try and cover Brock Feeney, but the pace differential just on that last lap alone is...
Oh, that was really close too. Feeney's going to have a look down the inside at 6 at 240 kilometres an hour. And there's not quite room to squeeze through there.
So not going to work there, but Feeney all over the back now of the Aston Martin. And all that hard work that Liam Talbot did to get the thing in a position of victory, Jamie Day just can't hang on to it. So had been a nice opening couple of laps, but the pace just isn't there in that Aston Martin relative of the Ferrari and the Audis. And I think it's going to be a case of Feeney going for that move and rinse and repeat. Control C, Control V. Down the inside goes Brock Feeney on Jamie Day, gets the move done. And Jamie Day back to position number 4.
Feeney up one. Despite 10 seconds extra in pit lane, he's only 2.1 seconds behind the race lead at the moment. So much more to play out in this, but Jackson Evans now finds himself out in front. He and Ryan Wood trading sector times and punching on, and this is good stuff. Couple of supercars rivals now, 1, 2 and 3.
I know Jada is it moved up to 8th position. Fastest lap of the race goes to Ojeda at the moment with the 1:08.7, but this is the battle here because Evans and Wood have been relinquished. Feeney has been relinquished of Day. Who's next in the queue? It's King. So whether King can get on the back of Day, not sure. But we've got Evans, Wood, Feeney. It's going to be on. We've still got 16 minutes to go.
So much more to play out in this one. Jackson Evans and Ryan Wood, 1 second apart in the lead in GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. And the leading 5 cars, all lockstep, covered by 5 seconds along Sandown's long front straight. And trying to chase them all down is Jordan Love, the Kangaroo Ferrari from Arise Racing, who's just punched out the quickest lap of the race comfortably with a 1:08.6. Edging down towards that lap record set by Fraser Ross in a McLaren back in 2019. A different sort of format back then in the day in Australian GT as it was known. Picked up the global branding at that point. Same cars though. Hopefully we see a McLaren back in Australia at some point too. That's such a cool brand in global GT racing. 1.4 seconds. Jackson Evans just edging away slightly from Ryan Wood. There's Jamie Day. A little bit of consolidation now. And word through. Car 24. Breach of pit stop procedure. That's the KFC Audi of Matt Stupas and Paul Stokel.
So you've you'd like to assume that would be probably time in the lane. Oh, that's a massive
Jamie.
move for Day.
God, he got on the exit curb at turn 1 and it fired the car across the road.
Oh, what a disaster for Jamie Day. They got the thing into the race lead, and now he's going to be dropping like a stone. Lucky not to end up in that inside fence, to be fair, because that's so easy to do. He just got too much of that curb, and that's something we discussed pre-race with that track walk that Rusty and I did, actually. That was close with Ojeda, and wow, that all just happened so quick for him, didn't it?
It's almost like the car bottomed out on the exit of turn 1.
Here we go. So he's just got up on, way too much curb and then lit the bags up and away it goes. These cars, they're so low to the ground, so stiffly sprung, and that's all it takes. And yeah, lucky not to get, not to fire himself into the Armco on the right-hand side or the left-hand side of the track. And that would have happened extremely quickly for him behind the wheel. And he's rejoined down in 7th position. So that's allowed George King. This is that re-entry, and he'd have a lot of grass on the tyres there, and a little bit of rubbing there, and just taken off a little bit of a chip of the rear diffuser.
Have a little bit of juice with your Aston Martin
That's it.
meal at the end of that one. So Jaden Ojeda goes through to 6th. Jordan Love is up to 5th position now, but has a 5-second penalty hanging over him for speeding in the pit lane, which would drop him behind Ojeda at the moment as well. It's an important race for Jaden Ojeda and Paul Lucchetti. They're 3rd in the championship on consistency alone, yet to win this season. 3 podium finishes to their credit in the Realtor Tagani Autosport Mercedes AMG. Wonder if tomorrow feels like a day where they could perform. Qualified well, thanks to Ojeda. They'll be towards the front. See what Mercedes AMG can do. Right now, it's Ferrari leading a couple of Audis at the pointy end of this one. 2.1 seconds is the margin between 2 fast, talented young Kiwis, and throw in the current leader of the Supercars Championship in the form of Brock Feeney, who's hunting down Ryan Wood. They'd usually be trading paint, one in a Walkinshaw Andretti United Mustang, the other in a 888 Race Engineering Camaro. They're in sister Audis out of the Melbourne Performance Centre stable today. They're fighting over 2nd and 3rd place. And the longer they battle, the better it is for Jackson Evans, the race leader.
Now, someone who I wanted to touch on was Alex Peroni. He's set roughly a very similar lap time to the leaders. Yes, they are a lap down, but we know that there's plenty of pace in that Audi. Likewise, Lee Holdsworth, he's done a 108.8 as well. So there's plenty of pace in the number 9 Audi and the number 268 Audi, as well as Ojeda. Purple, sector 1 on this lap. He's currently on a personal best lap, but 108.6 at the moment for Jordan Love. So we're just getting a replay. So this happened in the break. This was that massive moment for Jamie Day, who got out into the lead after the pit stop sequence, fell back to 4th, and then had a wild moment off the curb, off turn 1, massive curb, and spat sideways across the wet grass, managed to recover, but now he's dropped down to 7th.
Give the drone operator a pay rise after that. Brilliantly captured too. And then this was just an insult to injury at the end. He'd recovered okay, got back on the racetrack. Ojeda was coming in with a head of steam and a little bump and run on the exit of turn 4. Got the Realtor Mercedes AMG up a spot. So through all of that, car number 1, the Valente Rosso Racing Aston Martin, is back down in 7th position now, having led the race briefly after the mandatory pit stop sequence window there. Jackson Evans is the leader. It's 2 seconds exactly, 1st to 2nd. Ryan Wood has still got Brock Feeney behind him. That's Jordan Love, followed by Jaden Ojeda there. Sparks flying from Mercedes AMG as the light fades on a grey and overcast Saturday afternoon in Melbourne. Ryan Wood's just set his personal best lap of the race, so I wonder if there's still a little bit in this from the Wolfbrook Racing number 88 Audi R8. Rusty.
I'm down the other end of pit lane here, Krause, but catching up with Shane Woodman for a good reason. Firstly, we didn't see you at Queensland Raceway, but looking at the results at the moment, you must be pretty pleased.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shame that we missed Queensland. Had a bit of an overseas excursion, so over to Spa, so can't say no to that. So, yeah, no, we're doing an amazing job. I think we're quite lucky in some ways where Gracie had a 15-second penalty from the Queensland Raceway. So that's put us out in front, and it's in good hands with Ben, and he's doing an amazing job out there.
The car was okay when you came in and just basically press on.
Yeah, no, the car was great. It was a bit of a challenge yesterday afternoon in practice, but the car's tuned up and it's going to rocket.
All right, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but nice work by Black Wolf Motorsport at the moment, guys. Thank you. Back to it.
Shane and Ben Shoots, a great combination. They've been driving together for quite a while. Ben's a hugely experienced guy, as Shane alluded to. A lot of long-distance racing exploits, production of sports cars locally as well. Actually, he's on to set the quickest lap of the race if he can complete this one in car number 16, leading the AM class 7th outright.
Well, Jordan Love's just gone quickest with a 108.5, so stay tuned here. Ojada's just set his fastest lap with the 108.6. This will be very impressive from Ben Shoots, so he's not too far away from crossing the line at 109.6, so the last sector lost a lot of time there. But the middle sector, 16.1, so very quick in that middle sector. Maybe they've set the thing up for less drag, but less downforce.
He's got Lee Holdsworth behind him in the Hallmark Property Group number 9 car, and then Gracie another 6 seconds down the road. Renee's won 5 of the 6 races so far this season in the AM class. The other winner, car number 16, took the opening race of the season at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit in class. Wood and Feeney continue their battle, and Ryan Wood's got genuine pace at the moment and is just nibbling away at the leader, Jackson Evans. It's 1.6 seconds. This is not fall position. It's Jordan Love on the back of the great Paul Stokel.
And they served a drive-through penalty, didn't they, not too many laps ago, for a pit stop infringement, as did the 111 car as well. They also had a pit stop infringement, so whether that was also being under the minimum pit stop time. Just going back to our race leaders, Jackson Evans, the gap is coming down ever so slightly. It was at about 2.2 seconds a few laps ago, and now it's down to 1.4 seconds. So Ryan Wood's just edging ever closer to the back of that Ferrari, as the Ferrari's going to cop a bit of traffic here. So this is going to help Wood actually a lot.
That's Darren Curry, the 111 Racing AMG, and he gets him on the run into Dandenong Road. And it has cost him a little bit of time, and now Darren's got the 2 Audis behind. The question is, does he let them go, or does it wait until the straight? And then how much does that cost Ryan Wood and Brock Feeney as well? Not a massive amount, you wouldn't have thought.
We'll just see when we cross the line. The gap was 1.4 at the start of the lap. It's now under 9, under a second, and Feeney's lurking in behind as well. So Ryan Wood's just at a 109.0, Jackson Evans a 109.7. So I think, like you said, Crailsy, the traffic cost Jackson Evans a lot more than it did for Ryan Wood, and it pretty much didn't cost Feeney at all. So Feeney was able to get through after turn 1, as Ryan Wood just battling the rear of the car a little bit on the way into turn 4 there, and Evans still just maintaining that 1 second gap to Ryan Wood. There's about just under 7 minutes remaining in this race, plus a lap. The headlights are well and truly on. The lighting around the track is just diminishing as well.
Just a second between the leaders. There's the Ferrari. There's the 2 Audis chasing him down. So much attached to this with the events of the last couple of weeks. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. And a guy that was such a massive part of this championship for so long, and he was basically Uncle Tim to Jackson. So there is an enormous amount tied into the emotional side of car number 26 and what's going on here. Ryan Wood, they've had a runner-up finish, he and Steve Brooks this year. Missed the Queensland Raceway round. Brooksy was racing in his native New Zealand. And then Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher. Well, Brad and Milesy were mates. Brock was at the funeral as well. Part of that 888 race engineering team that Tim was a co-owner of. And Brad Schumacher was a good mate and racing rival with him too. In fact, one of the best GT races of the last 2 years was at Phillip Island, and it was between Milesy and Brad Schumacher. And you'll see more of that in our coverage tomorrow.
This is going to be, if it stands like this, Crailsy, Evans and Shoots' 4th win of the year.
Yeah, it could be massive, and there's a championship factor in this too. It's probably not the big picture at the moment. It is the big picture, but the storyline along this is even more significant. 5.5 minutes to go. 1 second exactly. The Ferrari's clinging on, but Ryan Wood is not letting him go. 109.0 for the leader. 8.8 for Ryan Wood. 8.9 for Brock Feeney. So the Audis were marginally quicker. Here's Alex Peroni flying up through the field. He's a lap down, so this is not for position on our AM class leader, Ben Schutz.
And Holdsworth must have got that move done as well on Ben Schutz, so he's up into 8th.
Schutz has still got, Thomas, he's still got 6.5 seconds over Rene Gracie in that battle for the AM class lead, 9th and 10th on the road. James Kanduris and brother Theo currently 3rd in class at the moment.
Just want to touch on Jade. No, Jade has just set the fastest lap of the race on that lap, a 1:08.5. So we're about 0.6 of a second away from the outright lap record, which was set 6 years ago in 2019 by Fraser Ross, as you touched on earlier in that McLaren. There is the 66 Realtor Mercedes of Jade Jada. So we know how fast he can be in these GT cars. So comfortable with the aero and so experienced as well. Look at it fly around turn 6 and the turn 7 curb. Beautiful to watch these machines go around. I'm very keen to see what he can do tomorrow when he starts the race.
Jaden Ojeda is only 2.6 seconds behind Jordan Love. And Jordan has a 5-second penalty hanging over his head for that pit lane infringement for speeding. So that will elevate Ojeda to 5th if things stay as they are. 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Evans, Wood, Feeney, 1.3 seconds covering the 3. The official margin 0.7 of a second. Basically 3 Audi lengths now between the Ferrari and the R8 in 2nd place.
And this would be, if it stays like this would be Wood and Brooks' equal best result. They got 2nd in the last race at SMP, Sydney Motorsport Park, so this would match their best result in the GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. And I think it's a case of what could have been for the 888 Audi if you take away that 5-second penalty.
Yeah, I mean, arguably the quickest car. The lap times back that up in this race so far. Extra penalty, yeah, they added 5 seconds to their pit stop and they're only 1.3 seconds behind. But motorsport's full of coulda, woulda, shoulda stories, isn't it, over the journey? Right now, they've just got to maximise what they've got, get the championship points. Looks like they might surrender a few to the Arise Racing Ferrari. Having said that, this is not done yet. And if Ryan Wood gets close enough to launch an attack at Jackson Evans, he absolutely will. There is no doubt about it. And it would come with the full blessing of Steve Brooks and the MPC team. Who knows what Brock Feeney could pick up at the end if that happens.
Well, the gap's down to half a second now between Evans and Wood. So well and truly in his rear vision mirror is Ryan Wood. So what can Ryan Wood do with 2 minutes remaining plus a lap? The gap down to half a second. Feeney in behind there. It's roughly the same gap between the cars. So it's a case of if Ryan pushes too hard, makes a mistake, Feeney's there to capitalise. And if Jackson Evans makes a mistake, Ryan Wood's there to capitalise. So Evans just got to control the field, hit his markers. He's done this before. He's led from the front and he's had to handle pressure like this before in these cars.
0.4, the official margin. Close enough now that that Audi will be starting to pick up a toe from the Ferrari in front. A little aerodynamic assist in a straight line, and Sandown is all about straight line. They've been very evenly matched. They're probably under-delivered in qualifying, the Audis, this morning. They've been punching on in the race. And Evans is clinging on to a race lead that has been whittled down from 2 seconds. There's 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. 3 laps of racing, you'd think, left in this one. The clock gets to 0, and then it's plus 1 lap after that.
Well, this is the battle. George King's a further 15 seconds back, so this is what we're focused on here, ladies and gentlemen.
Where do you go? You put yourself behind the wheel of car 88. Where are you having a big crack?
Well, he'll just be studying the back of the Ferrari. There's really only 2 spots, turn 1 and turn 9, and I think turn 1's probably the best spot, but they've both been demons under brakes there, so it's a fact of a pro trying to outbrake another pro in a car that's got ABS and they can already brake so late. So I don't think the lap time delta at the moment is enough. I think he's going to have to rely on Jackson making a small error off the final chicane.
Which seems unlikely, doesn't it? The young Kiwi who worked his way through one-mate Porsche racing. In fact, the two leading drivers in this race both did that before commencing their GT career.
That was ugly. That was really ugly.
And he's open to attack now, Jackson Evans. Ryan Wood locked up behind the wing of the Arise Racing Ferrari. He's never going to have a better opportunity than the one he may have now on the run down towards Dandenong Road. Evans versus Wood for a race win that means just a little bit more today than anyone so far this season. Jackson defends, covers his line to Dandenong Road.
Now, can Ryan Wood maybe get to the outside here and go for an outside lunge for the inside? No, Evans shuts the door. It's going to be...
The clock's ticked to 0. There's not long to go in this one. The 7th race of the GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS season. 1 to go, 3.2 Ks. It's Ferrari versus Audi.
He's going to have to cover here into turn 1 because Ryan Wood will go for a move. Thinks about it. Evans covers a little bit.
He'll be compromised on the exit though, and that's going to open the door for Ryan Wood. Parks the car in the middle of the road into 2. Nicely done. Good racecraft. No hole left, is there? Wood sends it at turn 4, but there's not quite room, and it's going to open the door for Brock Feeney. Ryan Wood slams the door shut. And that inter-team battle between the two Audis are everything that Jackson Evans wants and needs to try and deliver this race win.
And now it's going to go from Ryan Wood on the attack to Ryan Wood on the defence. Side by side, can't quite get it done. Ryan Wood hangs on, and I think he's now too far back for an attack on the Ferrari. And if Jackson Evans can hold on, what a story this would be for Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute.
Breathing room was all he needed. He needed just a little margin to cling on from a flying Ryan Wood. A week after farewelling his great mate, Uncle Tim, Jackson Evans wins it. What a race.
He's on. I don't think he. No,
I don't think he can believe it, Elliott Shute.
I don't think he thinks it's the end.
Oh.
But there you go, Elliott Shute. You're a Sandown race winner in the GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Geez, that just came down to the wire, didn't it, Crailsy?
That is a good car race between some really great racing car drivers.
And that was all set off from that small mistake Jackson made at the chicane. He just got the curb at turn 2, put him off for turn 3. Ryan Wood got on the back of him, and then Ryan thought about that manoeuvre on the last lap at turn 4. Couldn't get it done, then was under threat from Brock Feeney. But there's your top 3, Evans, Wood, Feeney, and Jamie Day, the Brit who had that moment down at turn 1 exit, wrapped up in position number 8.
Well done. Ben Shoots, Shane Woodman win the AM class and break a streak of 5 in a row for Renee Gracie, win their 2nd race of the season. But that battle, it was everything. 0.6 of a second covering the top 3 at the line. When GT racing is at its best, it is hard to beat for pure motorsport theatre, isn't it? Highlights of race 1, round 4, GT World Challenge Australia, and from the outset there was all sorts of stuff going on. Brad Schumacher was wide. He got the race lead and would be penalised for that, while Liam Talbot and Elliott Shute punched on at turn 4, trading paint in the early stages. The safety car was called for this. Mark Rosser on the comeback trail, bunkered down at Dandenong Road. And then it all set off as we raced towards the pit stops, and Liam Talbot gave Brad Schumacher a reminder of why he's a 2-time champion.
And Talbot actually received a bad sportsmanship flag for that, but he was, as they say, Rubbins racing, and then this was the move that basically sealed the deal for the 2nd place. And then a small mistake there from Jamie Day, allowing Jackson Evans to go through for what would be the race win. Jamie Day really didn't have anything for the other guys out there, for Ryan Wood or Brock Feeney, and putting a stonking move on was Ryan Wood. And then that was that massive moment of Jamie Day getting off the curb at turn 1, firing backwards across the grass, and then a little bit of adding insult to injury for Ojeda, who ended up finishing 4th place because of that penalty.
And a thrilling 3-car battle to the line, and Jackson Evans, using all of his experience, held on to grab an emotional race win, the 4th of the season for he and Elliott Shute and Arise Racing. There'll be some emotion attached to this, Rusty. No better person to talk to Jackson Evans.
Crailsy, thank you. Elliot Shute coming in to give him the congratulations. He's out of the car. We'll let him grab the helmet off. What a fight that was to the finish. Epic racing in that battle with Ryan Wood, and even Brock Feeney almost seizing on an opportunity at the end of it. Just let him grab that that flame-proof. There you go. Congratulations. What's that one mean?
Yeah, that one means a lot, obviously, with what's gone on the last couple of weeks. But no, big credit to the guys. It's a pretty special feeling. You know, it wasn't an easy race. Elliot did a flawless job in qualifying, and unfortunately the start of the race didn't go the way we sort of wanted it to. But you know, a good car speed, and I was able to make some moves. So no, really, really happy with that one.
Tell us and talk us through those last couple of laps. What drove you? I mean, great push from Ryan Wood. Brock there ready to snap at your heels too. Did you dig a little deeper? What'd you do?
Yeah, look, I felt pretty good out the box and managed to get to the lead, and then felt like we sort of just ran out of tyre a little bit there. We didn't quite nail the pit stop with pressures and things like that. So yeah, really dug deep, thought of Timmy, and yeah, just super happy to fend off and win the race.
Well done. I know this is for Arise Racing. I know it's for Elliot too, and for you, mate, but for someone special. Well done.
Cheers, thank you.
There you go, Jackson Evans, well done. Let's go from a class perspective as he gets the congratulations there. Let's go to Paul Stokel here, because we're celebrating our class winners too. You and Matt Stupas, nice job there today. What was that race like?
It was, even from my point of view, it was okay. Yeah, we had a couple of blunders at the pit stop, which cost us a pit drive-through penalty, which didn't do us any good. But it was good. I think we were competitive with some of the AM cars, you know, early on, and you know, being a trophy car, that's all our aim is, to try and get up there with the AMs as much as we can, which I was starting to do. But then we had to drive through. So anyway, at least we brought it home.
From a car point of view, all okay for tomorrow?
Yeah, car's mint, yeah, it's going okay. I'll get to start the race tomorrow, so we'll see what the weather does.
Happy days, still enjoying your racing, more to come, thank you.
Absolutely.
There you go, Paul Stokel, and around we go. We spoke to Shane Woodman toward the end of the race. He and Ben did a super job together. It's the breaking of a little bit of a drought. It's been Renee's way for a while now, but you guys are back on top in this one. Congrats.
Yeah, it's good to get one back, so weren't sure how we're going to go. We've been struggling all weekend, but guys have done a great job in the pits, and she seemed to be pretty good out there. We're expecting rain, but hey, I'll take the dry and take a win. So yeah, Shane did an awesome job, brought it in, and yeah, we got out in front and kept it.
Couldn't agree with you more. When I came down and spoke to you, I got really nervous, because that's kind of commentator curse territory, and I didn't want to do that to you.
Yeah, you just need an obvious place. So the rain could be just a couple of minutes away from being where it is. But no, Ben did an amazing job. I just can't thank him anymore, and the crew. They just keep at it all the time and make the changes what we need to do, and there's the results.
Mega job. Hope tomorrow goes as well for you.
Thank you. Cheers.
There you go. Stubbsy.
Rusty, thank you. Second in a race, and what a race it was. Ryan Wood and Steve Brooks, guys, fantastic effort. You threw everything at it over those final laps, Woody.
Yeah, Steve handed the car over in a really good position. It's probably the best I've ever seen him drive, so super proud of him. And yeah, it was, you know, when you hand the car over, it makes my life a little bit easier, and the guys and girls at NPC really gave us a really fast car today, and felt like our tyre life was probably the key to our pace today. So yeah, looking forward to tomorrow, and Brooksy, you know, put us up the front, so hopefully he can do the same and bring it home tomorrow like I did then.
So well done to Team NPC, Wolfbrook Motorsports. Steve, for you as a Kiwi, you'd be well aware there's a lot of emotion there. There's a lot going on here this weekend, isn't there? And obviously Tim's someone that you would have known well.
Yeah, no, look, I've met Tim a number of times, obviously raced with him this year, so you know, really sad tragedy happened to Tim. So to do this, I guess, as a Kiwis for Tim has been fantastic, and hopefully tomorrow we go one better and get the win.
Gentlemen, thanks for your time.
Lovely, thanks very much.
All right, we'll let those boys go and head off to the podium, because that's coming up next here on the Shannons Speed Series. We will be celebrating what was an epic race for the GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS.
Our live coverage of the Shannons Speed Series continues. It is time to welcome all of you now to the podium presentation for Race 1 of the 2025 GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS at the GT Festival Sandown. Presenting the trophies today, we're delighted to welcome Belinda Narby, Marketing Manager for Liqui-Moly. Thank you for doing this, Belinda. Please welcome your top 3 place cars for the Pro-Am class. Ladies and gentlemen, 3rd place on Saturday afternoon. How about making some noise from Kelso Electrical Team MPC, Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher. We'll bring up 2nd place now, a Kiwi combination that put in a hell of a fight today for Wolfbrook Team MPC. Make some noise, Steve Brooks and Ryan Wood. And a gutsy, hard-fought drive to a very, very special win from Arise Racing GT in the Ferrari. Congratulations, Elliot Shute and Jackson Evans. I'll collect their trophies here and head on to the very top spot there of the podium. Little moment for our media and all of the fans that have kindly gathered here on a cold day at Sandown to grab a photo on their phones, their cameras, all smiles. One thing remains. Drivers, there is some champagne at your feet. Let the celebrations begin. How about it, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, time for one final race for this Saturday of the Shannons Speed Series at Sandown, and we're underway straight into the action. This is the First Focus Radical Cup Australia. It's our championship leaders.